Why is it that if you are helping your wife so much and being available and a partner, that it is not helping you? In this video, I'm going to explain why it's not helping you and what you need to do. And this is both for guys who have been helping for a long time and guys who have recently started helping. And it's for men who are under threat of imminent separation and divorce, and for guys who are not under any threat. It's important to understand the fundamentals here, because when you understand how the helping dynamic plays out in your marriage, it gives you a deeper understanding on why what you're doing now is not working and what you can do to make it better. So let's talk about helping. There are different types of helping. There is the home type of helping, where you're doing things around the house: maintenance, cleaning, cooking, laundry, dishes, and maybe some other items as well. Or you may be more of the dad type, where you're being more present for the kids, taking them to their events, their soccer games, doing homework, being available and present. Or your help may be more of the husband style help, where you're planning dates for your wife, you're expressing appreciation to her, you may even be buying her flowers or gifts, you're trying to listen to her. She's giving you a list of things to do, where she says, hey, if you did these things, we would be doing better, I would be happier, our relationship would be healthier. And you do those lists. But it feels that despite what you're doing as a dad, as a husband, as a man around the house, and as a provider, you're going to work, you run a business, or you work for another company, you're providing, you're hustling, working hard, you come home, you're paying the bills, you're doing your best. But it seems that providing for her is not giving you what you should be getting in return as part of the marriage. Typically, what's happening in these situations is the husband may be putting a lot into this relationship, but despite everything you're putting in, you're not getting the recognition that you need. We're not talking about flattering compliments. We're talking about basic appreciation and a dignified response and reaction to your investment in the relationship. Despite the fact that you're doing everything she wants or she says she wants, she's still blaming you for not doing things correctly. She's still in a bad mood. She's still unhappy. She still has what I call shifting. Shifting is when you do the list that she asked you to do, whatever's on the list. It doesn't matter, because it kind of different to each guy. But even after you do the list, she then has a new list or a modified list, or complains that you didn't do her list correctly. And what you might still be getting are double standards, where it seems like she's able to criticize you, but you're not able to criticize her. Or double standards can apply in different ways in different relationships. So, despite all the work you're doing, the help you're giving as a man around the house, as a father, as a husband, as a provider, you're not getting the recognition that you need. You're not getting basic appreciation. You're not getting, bottom line, a happy wife, which is really the ultimate goal. And you're not in a relationship where there is a fair standard, where you can both speak your truth, express your needs, express your opinions without being criticized. The bottom line is, it feels like the more you're investing, the more you're helping, the less you're getting, the less connection you're getting. The question is, why is that? So let's break it down into two different scenarios. Pay attention to both, even if you are just in one, because it's a progression. Now, listen carefully. When a marriage is deteriorating, it usually follows a certain pattern. So, in the beginning, when I say beginning, what I mean to say is before there is a serious conversation about separation and divorce, you will be able to see the underlying patterns based on what I'm about to share with you. But if you don't fix it, you don't address it while it's easy, it does get worse. And then from there, it moves on to her talking about and then wanting, then insisting on separation, divorce, or her space, which is really a code word, which usually leads to divorce anyway. So let's talk about two types of men who are helping a lot in their marriage. We're going to call one guy the long term helper. Number two is the crisis helper. The long term helper is the guy that has always, and when I say always, I mean to say for a long period of time, somebody who has been helping his wife and trying to be a partner for many months, and in most cases, many years. But she's taking it for granted, and you're confused on why it's happening. A crisis helper is the guy that started helping and becoming more present and available and trying to be more of a partner and a lover, a husband and a friend as a result of a crisis. So, long term helper is the guy that started doing this before a crisis. It's just in his personality, it's in his character. He's more of a helper, he's been more involved. The crisis helper is the guy who, as a response to the crisis in his marriage, to the threat of divorce, to her talking about wanting to be on her own, to experiment with some space. Check out my other video when I'm talking about space, about how even if she doesn't say it's an experiment, is always an experiment, right? Check it out. I'll give you a link under this video. Whether it's her saying, I want space, I want separation, I want divorce. And in response to that, the guy wakes up and says, all right, let me get my act together. Now, you got to understand both of these personalities, or really the underlying issues or traps behind them, because they do connect. Very simply, like I said before, if you are a long term helper, if you're investing in the relationship and you're not getting back, eventually, since the unmet needs on her part are not happening, in many cases, she will get frustrated and will move on to separation or wanting to experience some time on her own, which is, again, a code word for I really want divorce. I just want to see what it's like to be on my own a little bit. Again, check out that video for more details. The long term help is typically good guy with a good heart, but is getting increasingly resentful because he doesn't know why his wife is not responding positively to his actions, to his words, to his intentions. And what that results is that sometimes you stop investing in the marriage because it doesn't seem to be helping anyway. So what ends up happening is you fluctuate between putting a lot into the marriage, doing a lot for her, and then withdrawing and cutting back on what you're doing for the marriage. Or you're not cutting back on what you're doing. So you keep on doing the actions, but your heart is not there. Your frustration is building. Your resentment is building. The crisis helper is a guy that just started showing up as a man, as a husband, as a father after a serious conversation about her wanting her space or divorce. So his help is part of a desperate response to save the relationship. But despite the help that you may be putting into the marriage, she's still not moving. She is still stuck. There's still conversation about separation and divorce, regardless of what you're doing for the marriage. So let's break it down in some more detail. Why isn't it helping you? For the long term helper, the reason why your help is not helping your wife is because number one, she can feel your frustration and your resentment. You may say, hey, that's not fair. I'm frustrated and resentful because it seems like I'm wasting my time. And that might be true. But the reality is, once you get to the point that you're frustrated and resentful, she will feel that women are fantastic at picking up your inner energy even before you can admit it. So she will feel your frustration and resentment way before you're aware of it. And that will make it harder for her. And that will automatically block whatever investment you're putting into the marriage and make it irrelevant. Number two, when a guy is always giving, quite frankly, it's not attractive because it seems like he doesn't have a life. Again, it might not be true. I'm explaining it to you how she sees it from his perspective. If he's always helpful, it seems like he doesn't have drive and motivation to be something, do something for himself. It feels like he's hovering around her, like he's almost trying to control her feelings, or his happiness and his sense of well being is dependent on her happiness. Bottom line is that lack of confidence on your part, because you are essentially walking on eggshells around her and trying the whole time to please her and serve her, actually makes you look unattractive. It will, on some level, make you look desperate. But most importantly, it's the lack of confidence. Since you don't know how to initiate conversations with her, how to have open conversations about what her needs are, what your needs are, how to express yourself, how to handle her reaction, how to handle her rejection, how to handle her criticism, how to know which topics to pick, which areas to pick to express your needs and your opinions. There's a lack of attraction, there's a lack of confidence in that, which causes a lack of attraction on her part, which over time will make you more resentful because you're frustrated with what is going on or with what's not going on in the relationship in terms of healthy communication, intimacy, mutual respect, friendship. There's not a judgment from me towards you, God forbid. This is me just explaining what's going on. Your resentment pushes her further away. When somebody is helping a situation, they have to feel like the help is working. And if it's not working, here's the point I didn't say. Don't ignore it. Don't make believe it's working. Don't make believe it's going to fix itself. If you're driving on a flat tire, it's just not going to reinflate itself. You need to be aware and be honest with yourself and say, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I'm putting X amount of time. X amount of energy into the marriage, into the relationship for the purpose of what? To have better connection, more happiness. She should be happy. I should be happy. My kids should be more happy. Should have healthier intimacy, more frequent intimacy, more time spent together. And am I getting it or not? How long have I been stuck in this pattern? How many times have I told myself, if I only did what she wanted, I'll be fine? And then I did it and she wasn't fine. And I wasn't fine. That's the problem a lot of guys have is they make believe like everything's fine. The woman knows everything's fine. The woman knows the guy is confused. He's desperate. He's frustrated. He's a crisis helper. He's a long-term helper. He doesn't have confidence. He doesn't know how to initiate conversations. She knows all of this already. And listen, the fact is, most guys realize problems in their marriage many years after the woman is frustrated. Now, in the case of the crisis helper, it's a little bit different. And the crisis helper, the rejection from a woman is more because of, oh, so he started helping because I was about to leave, or he saw that I was serious about separating or a trial separation. What that does is it takes the entire help you're doing and puts it into a box, regardless of what's in the box. She's not looking at the box. She's just looking at the handle of the box. And the handle of the box says desperation, fake. And it could even look like you're manipulating. Because if you become too good too fast, she no longer looks at all the good you're doing. She looks at the fact that it was too fast and it's not real. And it was a response to her threat. And therefore, whatever changes you're making are not really you. That's one of the dangers of becoming too good too fast. And a lot of guys fall into this. And even a lot of coaches guide guys to do it, become different. Oh, got to be careful how you become different because it will look inauthentic. It will look like you're putting up a show, even if you're not. That's the trap. That's a danger. So since your changes, your helping was panic driven and you ramped up everything at once, it can and does look manipulative to her, which is why you might hear her say things like, this is not really you. Oh, it's not really going to last. You're manipulating. It's because your helping was in response to a crisis. The bottom line is becoming too good too fast actually undermines trust. It makes it impossible for her to trust your changes. And even if your helping was not in response to a crisis, remember we spoke about the long-term helper, that good guy that was always helping? Being too good makes true emotional connection difficult. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be good and shouldn't be good, but it has to be done carefully, together with a clear understanding of the underlying patterns in communication between husband and wife. That's one of the things that I help my clients understand and then apply to their marriage, how to see those underlying patterns. And if you want to have a conversation with me about that, you can do so by clicking on the link and you can pick a spot on my calendar and we'll chat. But the question is what to do. When does helping work? So I'm going to give you a couple of basic principles that when you use them, your helping actually goes in. Three things. You do some things, you do it with love and without toxic energy, which means you don't do a lot. You don't change a lot of things. You pick some areas and you do it from a place of choice, from a place of love, from a place of caring. And you do it without toxicity, without resentment, without frustration, without bitterness, without desperation, because she can and will feel these things. And she already has been feeling these things. When a guy invests from that place of that desperate energy, the frustrated energy, she feels it. It is vital for you to understand that because that is where your help is going essentially right into the garbage. So, number one, don't do everything all at once because to her, it communicates desperation. To her, it communicates manipulation, that your changes aren't real, but also because it will frustrate you. It's not sustainable. It will make you more resentful quicker. And number two, like I said, do it from a place of love and a choice, not from fear, not from an obligation, not from frustration. You will see this. And if you don't understand this now, eventually you will. I don't know how much you're going to have to suffer till you figure this out, but I'm telling it to you right now. Women feel your emotional energy, your desperation, your frustration, and your resentment. I'm just giving you a couple of basic ones because those are the most common. There are a whole bunch of subconscious energies, and that's something that I work with my guys to understand, to see, to respond to. how to implement communication strategies around all those energies. But on a very basic level, it's vital that you understand this because she will very often twist, and it's not her fault. It's not a judgment when I say that. It is a fact. She will distort your intentions and misinterpret them. So she'll see pressure, she'll see manipulation, even when it's not there. Bottom line is, overgiving will create under receiving. I'll make it very simple. Your help for her should be helping you too. And it's not a matter of selfishness. It's not a matter of 50-50. It's not a matter of blaming or judging. It's a matter of what is good for the relationship, what creates a healthy relationship. Ultimately, in order to truly heal your marriage and then have a beautiful marriage, you have to be careful how you invest. Do it with love, without toxic energy. And as I said before, you do have to understand the underlying patterns of what is going wrong, what are the best areas to pick in investing in a relationship, and which areas you should ignore, which areas are going to backfire. It's also important for a husband to understand, why is she misinterpreting my actions? What exactly am I saying or doing right now, which is ruining everything else? When you combine helping carefully, surgically, right, you select certain areas, but then doing it with a full heart, at the same time setting healthy boundaries around your help so you can juice yourself, feel good about it, and you get the appropriate response and appreciation for it. That's where you start building an amazing marriage. And if you want to explore how to actually apply all these principles of understanding these underlying patterns, how to read her mind, how to see what areas are important, which areas you should invest in the marriage, which areas are going to backfire, which areas are a waste of time. And you want to see if your situation, what you're going through, is a match for my mentorship, for my program. You can click on the link below, pick a spot on my calendar, and we'll talk. What creates a healthy relationship is when your investments feel good for you when you're doing it and after you're doing it. Not just from yourself, but also from her, where there's recognition, basic appreciation, basic respect, which then allows you both to have a foundation to build in conversations, in continued friendship. And that's really the way marriage was designed to be. It wasn't designed to be this guy is just trying desperately to make her happy. I'm not sure how to make her happy. Let me do this. Let me follow her list. Her list doesn't work. I'll do the other list. Maybe I'll guess. Maybe I'll just give up. I'll be frustrated. I'll stew in resentment and withdraw for a couple of days until I try again. Some guys go into a place of like, oh, it's always going to be like this. That's the way women are. And they develop these negative opinions about women or marriage. God didn't design marriage for it to be bitter or stale or stagnant. It's actually supposed to be getting better over time. It's not supposed to start out with some high and then deteriorate and get worse and worse and worse. But one of the reasons I should say is because guys get stuck in this pattern of putting a lot into the marriage without understanding what actually matters or why she's stuck or how to read her. And even in situations where you're a crisis helper, where you know there's a crisis and you know you were missing, right? You know you weren't there. You know that you dropped the ball. Okay. And it takes a big man to acknowledge that to himself. It takes a strong man to say, you know what? I wasn't there. I dropped the ball 5, 10, 15 years. I wasn't there and I want to become better. Even then, you need to be careful to be cautious and not run into fixing a marriage haphazardly, because then you're going to grab every single tool that comes your way and you're not going to know the difference between this is a fork, this is a toothbrush, and this is a knife, and this is a drill. You do have to understand which tools work best for which situations and how to apply them